franktalks.com.
This program does not represent the views of this station and may be considered offensive to some listeners. This program may contain mature subject matter, including frank discussions of controversial topics. It is intended for mature, open-minded audiences. Discretion is highly advised. This program is entirely independently produced by and is copyrighted by Frank 2005. It is broadcast here under license.
In studio today, we have a gentleman by the name of J Di Rocco. Mr. Di Rocco, welcome to Frank Talks.
Thanks, Frank. I'm glad to be here.
J Di Rocco is a producer-director who was born in Montreal and now resides in Toronto, and who today had the screening of his very first 2 feature-length films. We're going to be talking to Mr. Di Rocco today about how he got his start in the entertainment industry and the pleasures and lifestyles of being an independent filmmaker. So, Mr. Di Rocco, let's start off with where you were born and different events in your life that led you to becoming an independent film producer.
Okay. I was born in Montreal. Don't ask me which hospital. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, and I was a baby. I grew up in Montreal's East End, which, caused me to have significant issues with my childhood. And went to Vincent Massey, which, again, if those of you who know the area, gave me significant childhood issues. Then when I was 14, I decided I wanted to be an actor because I was young, full of creative energy and drive, and couldn't get any girls. So I said, I'll be an actor and then girls will like me. So I went to acting school, probably the worst acting school in the city. So I will not name the name, but don't go there. I won't name the name because I'll get in trouble and then people get mad and, but, it was a bad school. And so from there, I took some acting classes, and they actually thought I was pretty funny for some odd reason and decided to ask me to take stand-up comedy lessons when I was 14 or 15 years old. So there I was at the Comedy Works Comedy Club. I don't even know if that club is still around, but I was there on my first ever stand-up night after taking 3 months of courses. I go on stage, do my whole bit, and nobody laughs. Not one person laughs. It was a painful experience for a gentleman in the stages of puberty. So I decided I don't want to be an actor anymore. But the good part is that on while doing stand-up comedy, I met a young, ambitious director who was directing a music video, and he told me I could be the star of the video. Wow. I mean, hey, everybody starts in the music videos, right? So off I was in this wonderful music video for a song that I had not heard, and then was slightly shocked after I heard the song and decided, wait, maybe this music video won't go far. So after the music video, I met a gentleman there by the name of Frank something. This guy, he's got a radio show now. It's called Frank Talks. Anyway, I met him there. I don't remember his name. And what? You can laugh. I'm a funny guy.
Just keep telling the story.
All right. So I met Frank there, and because he had to be. And so from there, Frank was doing this puppet show on Concordia University Television, and I said, hey, I love puppets. I want to stick my hand in something's butt and make it talk. So we did the puppet show, and I directed my first TV show at 15 and a half years old. My crash course in film school was good camera shot, bad camera shot. All right, go. And this was the day for all you people who are listening to this, are using digital technology. We were using something called 3/4 inch. These were tapes that are probably bigger than your head. I'm not kidding. It's bigger than your head. So we were shooting on this, and this was the day when we had, old reel-to-reel kind of editing where you had 2 VCRs and these spinning wheels and in points and out points. It was very, very fun. And I learned my valuable lessons there because we had nothing, but we made something with nothing. And those are valuable lessons that I think every filmmaker should get, is the experience of taking nothing, having bare bones equipment and actually producing something with it and getting the sense of accomplishment. And I think that was more important to me and to my development than any crap I learned in film school. Actually, probably than all the crap I learned in film school. If you want to make quality films, don't go to film school. Except the one at this school, because it's a good school. Stay in school. Especially Concordia. Good school. They have a good film program. So nobody's going to sue you now, right?
I hope so, MJ.
But all the other film schools you shouldn't go to. This one you should go to.
In all our joking here, you do seem to have a definite stance on the value of a film education also being... Because you do have an education in film, don't you?
I do have an education in film. I think that film school teaches you valuable lessons about making films, and it gives you access to equipment to be able to express yourself. However, I think it's senselessly competitive for absolutely no reason. People are trying to sabotage each other's projects for absolutely no reason. I think if in film school they were to teach cooperation, helping each other out, because once you graduate, you don't have cameras, you don't have G4s or G5s with high-end editing gear. No, you have nothing. You have, well, here's your degree. Bye. Good luck. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And you're stuck. You have a degree in fine arts. It's not going to get you very many jobs that'll pay you what you want to buy your equipment. So you have to basically know people and get to be able to deal with people. And if you kind of upset everyone you worked with in school by, trotting around going, I made the best film in film school and this and that. You know what? In all reality, if you're the best filmmaker in your school, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, nobody cares. You might be the best there is at such and such a university, but nobody cares in the real world. It's like being the high school hockey star. You're popular with all the chicks in high school, but outside in the real world, nobody cares. So the valuable lessons that film schools should teach are cooperation, learning how to work together, learning how to find money, learning how to say, okay, all you have is a high 8 camera or all you have is a home DV camcorder. Well, what can you do with that? That's what they should teach you, because that's the reality of the situation. You're not going to leave school and get handed a $150 million budget, 35 millimeter Panavision camera, all the film reels from Kodak you want and a stunt crew. No, you're going to be handed nothing. Nobody cares. So you got to go out and do it yourself. And that's what I think they should teach, that reality in film school. Yes, teach the art aspect, but also teach the reality aspect of it, because when you graduate, you're struggling out there. I mean, how many filmmakers are there in Montreal struggling? And now I'm in Toronto where you throw a rock and you'll hit a filmmaker, or a hot dog cart, but more than likely a filmmaker. So,
not that we advocate throwing rocks.
No, please don't throw rocks, especially not at this university. This is a good school.
Very subtle there on the disclaimer there, MJ.
What? I'm saying don't throw rocks at this school. It's a good school. I came here. You could throw rocks at me. Actually, lined up outside to throw rocks at me. I think that film school has its assets because it teaches you good and bad. I would say if you want to be a filmmaker, take film studies with a minor in business. Take a minor in, or take electives in marketing, in public relations, in management. Yes, you're going to graduate. A filmmaker, a film director, is a leader. You have a staff of 20 people who are more than likely working for nothing, who are working for coffee, donuts, and beer at the end of the day. Now, you better be a damn good manager to do that, because if you go around, because I've worked with independent filmmakers who had this attitude of, I'm the filmmaker and I'm God, and you know what? I'm sorry, I'm working for free. Screw you. I'm going to go home and watch football. So it's like, take these courses. Learn what you have to learn by film studies. Learn a good computer program and watch a lot of movies. I mean, if you can't shoot anything properly, well, most of the editing software now can fix your bad shots by making them good shots. I know, because I've shot stuff and I've used bad takes and made them good by deleting stuff and manipulating the footage. So I think you want to be a filmmaker, take film studies, take management, take PR, take anything business related, because in the world out there, it's all about how are you going to get the film made. Once you have the technology to make the film, then worry about making the film. But first you have to worry about how are you going to get this done? Where are you going to get the people? Where are you going to get the gear? How are you going to do it?
I want us to take a little sidetrack here. From my understanding, you are also working in the entertainment industry, so you're not only an independent filmmaker, you actually work in the entertainment industry.
Yes, I've worked for a number of different companies in the entertainment industry. And I can tell you firsthand, based on my experience, film companies, TV companies are run like businesses. They are big businesses. They want to make money. They don't care really about what the deeper meaning of your film is. Nobody, big shots at Warner Brothers and everybody at the top who are financing you, giving you hundreds of millions of dollars, don't care if you use a red gel or a blue gel. They don't even care why you're doing it. They're going to care about, are people standing outside to give me $18 or $12 or whatever the hell a movie costs to go see now, some ridiculous price, and how many DVDs will they sell, and how many DVDs will they rent? How can they market you, and how can they market your film? Because I mean, there's a lot of quality films out there that aren't being seen. They're being overshadowed by movies like Gothica and The Adventures of Pluto Nash, which is like crap on a stick. Yeah, I can't say that word, can I? It's poop on a stick. Poop. Can I say poop?
It isn't the word as much as it is the sentiment, but I guess I'm going to have to deal with the censors on this one.
C'est caca sur un bâton.
Moving right along. We should also mention that in studio with us today are 4 members of MJ's crew.
All of them my lawyers to not get me sued. No, I'm kidding.
All of them here to help keep MJ in line, and you are not doing a very good job here, people. But no, they were invited into studio so that they can sit in, which is very rare here on Frank Talks. Usually we're doing a one-on-one interview, so I think this is the first time we've had the most amount of people in studio at once. So this is a very first here on Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles.
Well, I'm glad I could, be the first.
I do have one more question for you. Now, you're an independent filmmaker. You obviously have to work with limited resources in order to produce your movies.
Yes, of course.
But you also worked in the entertainment industry, and I'd like to know how much support did you get from the companies that you worked for in the entertainment industry for your independent films?
Big fat donut. None. Zero. They're like, oh, you make films? That's good. Maybe we'll take a look at it when it's done. So that's the kind of reaction you get. Because, I mean, everybody who works on a film set or works for a film company somewhere down the line is a filmmaker at heart, right? You'll go on in Toronto, they shoot, I don't know how many movies a month. And everybody from the second assistant director to the production assistant is all somewhere a graduate of film school and all a director at heart. They don't care. To a film company that I work for, or if I work for a bank, it's the same thing. Does my private film life, my private hobby of making my independent films, does that deter me from my job there? If so, I will get fired. They don't care. Well, they don't care, and they don't see it as an asset that I make films. They might even see it as something that can deter them from my position. And any company will see that. Most companies will be like, well, what are you doing with your films? And they'll say, if they see that, I use the photocopier to make mass copies of the scripts to distribute to the cast, which I don't do because that would be wrong. But if you get an office job, you got a lot of stuff you can use, like photocopiers, staplers, hole punchers. Sure beats those waiter jobs where you have nothing and a smaller pay. But I would never use a photocopier for personal use. That would be wrong, especially not at this school. This is a good school.
And on that disclaimer, we'll be back right after this.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the Calibrated Storytelling Seminar. Have you ever felt tongue-tied when talking to a woman and did not know what to say next? This seminar provides the structure to create personalized stories that connect to a woman's emotional needs. Calibration is about putting people into the categories and then modifying your behavior. Do you want to learn how to be truthful about who you are, but in an interesting and seductive way? If you want women to like you for the real you, then this seminar is for you. The Calibrated Storytelling Seminars and telephone consultations, only available at franktalks.com.
Frank Talks is making the world a better place by interviewing people on pleasures and lifestyles in order to inspire and educate listeners like you about the possibilities to lead more interesting and fulfilling lives. Be sure to visit our website at www.franktalks.com for the most up-to-date information and the latest downloads of programs just like the one you are listening to now.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. What would your life be like if you knew exactly what to say and do with women? This book is for the guy that simply wants to learn how to handle women's tests by addressing her emotional needs. By this, you create the type of attraction that will make her see you as the one she was destined to be with. This book will teach you how to get the woman you want and how to keep her. Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test is the Rosetta Stone for men to understand exactly what a woman means when she speaks and how to respond. Is that worth changing your life forever? Buy this book at franktalks.com now.
You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles, and I'm Frank because I have to be. We're in studio today with J Di Rocco, a independent filmmaker, director, and producer, and writer.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
At this time, we have 4 members of your cast and crew. Why don't we start with a couple of introductions so everybody gets a chance to say hello on air?
All right, let's start with Andrew Ross. This is Andrew. He's
Hi there, everyone.
he's just the Andrew. He's not. He's my.
He's a faithful supporter.
Yeah, he's my public relations attaché. I got cinematographer Alex Legault sitting next to him. Hi, Alex. I miss you. Then I got actor extraordinaire Anthony Colace.
Thank you, MJ. You're a brilliant director, and Frank, you're a great talk show.
He certainly knows. Yes, absolutely. You got a little brown stuff there on your nose there.
And then sitting next to Anthony is Hironobu Okawa, editor extraordinaire.
Konbanwa.
That means good evening in Japanese. So there you go. He's very hardworking people. I'm glad to know each and every one of them, and I'm glad you're here tonight. They're not just sticking around because they're hoping I'll buy beer, I hope.
A quick question for you, MJ.
Sure.
Let's talk about the pleasures that you experience living the lifestyle of an independent film producer.
Well, the lifestyle of an independent film producer is very different than a regular film producer. I don't own a Lamborghini. In fact, I don't own much. I think I own the belt and the pants I'm wearing, if they're not out on credit as collateral. But what you do get as an independent filmmaker are insanely beautiful memories that you can't really get anywhere else because no other industry is as crazy. All kinds of memories just on my last film. The most vivid that comes to mind is Hironobu, who's just sitting next to me here. Was editing the film at his apartment. I actually brought my computer to his house and he was editing. And one night I went over to his place to just see progress. Now he's got a 3-year-old daughter who was singing the opening song to our film, which happens to be I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace, which is not a very happy song that you usually get on the Treehouse Network. So I'm just like, you kind of walk in and you're like, And then she's like, Emoji, I have this song I want you to hear. And she's singing, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm an evil, evil man. I'm going to burn in hell for a very, very long time. I mean, same situation. This little girl, we were shooting a scene where somebody gets shot in the film, and, you know, Toronto's a wonderful city that you can do a shootout scene right in the back alley and no one will say anything. We're just outside, and, you know, Anthony's playing the part, and I'm playing the part of the guy getting shot, and we're just hanging out in the alley behind my apartment, and Anthony's walking by blasting bullets into my body, and I fall on the floor dead. Meanwhile, you know, Hidenobu's filming all this. His daughter's up in my apartment with my girlfriend, and they're playing and they're dancing, you know, and I come back all bloodied up. She's like, hi, MJ. I'm like, hi. Yeah, and I go change my clothes. Like, nowhere else on the planet can you get memories like this. I mean, when we make films, because we have such an extraordinarily low budget, we have to, you know, use what we have. And in this case, you know, I can't really afford a hotel for everybody coming from Montreal. So we kind of all sleep in one apartment. When you have a 2-bedroom apartment, you have a sofa bed and 2 beds, and you're 9 people, you kind of get cozy.
Can you elaborate on that?
You know, actors sleeping with other actors. Like, sleeping as in the, not the kind of way, right? Just sleeping as in I'm sleeping, not as in sleeping with. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting, because then you figure out who snores, who releases gaseous elements while they sleep, because you don't want me to say the other bad F word. So, you know, you realize it's just this. I think once you've slept in the same room, in fact, same bed as someone, you kind of grow really uncomfortably close to them, as some people in this room have slept together. Not more kind of thing, right? So, what? I mean, the memories of just, you know, my bed, I got Anthony sleeping next to me, I've got Alex on the floor on an air mat, you know, it's just, and then the first thing Anthony says in the morning to Alex, not good morning, how did you sleep? He's like, Alex, did you wash your behind? For the sheer reason that this is how we live our life. This is how fun it is, you know, just because we like to bug each other, and it's like being kids again, you know, and except we go and make movies at very bizarre times of the day.
Speaking of your movies, there's something very significant about your first movie, The Meatball Story.
Yes.
And to my understanding, it's a first of its kind.
It is. It's the first all-digital, all-black and white film in the history of the world. Now, George Lucas had the first all-digital film in Star Wars Episode 1, I believe. That cost something ridiculous like $300 million. The Meatball Story cost $300. You know, and from what I'm being told by those who've seen both, mine is significantly better. So up yours, George Lucas, up yours.
And on that note, why don't we move on to talk a little bit about your other movie, Truant Cafe? Yes.
Truant Cafe is it's a very nice film, I think. I'm not just saying that because I made it. It's inspired by true events, and I think that it's really my first exploration into a darker topic with non-comedy involved in it. It's a very serious film. It's a very heavy film. I think that it was very well made. The editing style is very unique. I have to thank Hidenobu for that. It's an idea I had to have a lot of multi-frame editing, basically a lot of split screens, three different shots in one frame going on screen at the same time. It's rare you see that in films. You see it a little bit on TV now, but not to the extent that we do it in Truant Cafe, and not used in the same way and as significantly. So again, I think that's also a first. I think it's a very unique style. You know, I like to call it the Japanese style, because the Japanese see things 25 years in the future. So in 25 years, maybe films will be edited like this, or hopefully only mine. So, you know, I'll copyright and trademark the editing style and become rich, just like George Lucas. He was a very nice man.
We've talked a little bit about the lifestyle and some of the obstacles you've had to overcome to be an independent filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some of the sacrifices you've had to make and are still making today.
There's a lot of sacrifices. One of them is social life. I don't have one. You have to be a special kind of crazy to do what we do. You know, when we shot Truant Cafe, we were waking up at midnight to go on to set at 3 a.m., to shoot till noon, to go back to bed, to do it again the next day. You know, and then once all that is done, well, you have like 20 hours of raw footage that I don't know where it came from because we had no time. You have to start piecing all that together. And after a year of pretty much working on this day in, day out, it's finished. And you have no spare time. You have virtually no money that goes on to anything else but that. You know, when you don't get a budget or you don't even bother to go through all the headaches it takes to apply for some pathetic government grant, you know, that you're going to get 2 years after you apply for it, you're basically going out of pocket. You're working extra hours. You're doing overtime to be able to make your film. So, I mean, sometimes it hurts the wallet. Sometimes it hurts a lot of other things because, you know, you've got a girlfriend who sometimes doesn't understand why you're working so many hours on a film that people sometimes may not understand, you know, and then you have all the people going, are you sure you want to do this? Are you making any money doing this? You know, like, what are you getting? What's going to happen once it's done? You know, that's I get a lot of questions like that. Well, okay, great. You want to shoot a film, but what are you going to do with it once it's done? You know, my concern first is getting it done. Once it's done, I'll worry about it then. So I think more than the money and more than the lack of social life, I think it's the lack of understanding. Because unless you do what we do, people don't really understand it. And today, I think they started understanding it after the screening. They see where all the hard work is gone, but I don't think they understand it to the extent that those who were involved in the process understand it.
You screened both films in one day, which is a very rare event, even in independent filmmaking. What are some of the feelings you took with you after both films had finally screened, finally edited?
Relief. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept since Wednesday, and Anthony can probably attest to that. You know, because you're just kind of scrambling going, no matter how ready you think you are, you're not. No matter how well you say you're going to do or you feel you're going to do, you still get butterflies. We all did today. You know, this morning I asked Alex, are you nervous? He's like, no, I'm fine. As the lights went down to start to film, in the first 10 minutes, he had goosebumps. He was getting hot. That's the way it is. No matter how ready or how good you think the film... I mean, I've seen both films upwards of 80 times. They're really quite boring after all that time. But the first 10 times you see them, they're really good. So buy the DVD. Buy 2, in fact. Give 1 for Christmas. Makes a great gift. What? It's my movies. So it's just, no matter how prepared you think you are, and even if you're screening it for people who love you and care about you and want to support you, and who will say it's really good, even though it's, you know, even though you may think it's not, and even if they don't like it, they say they will, you still get nervous. You know, and I was discussing that with Alex as well today, and he's got experience with larger performance groups, you know, circus groups and things like that, and their shows aren't even ready on opening night, you know. And I mean, I think that's the feeling I had of, okay, it's done now, and when the lights go out and the movie starts, well, that's it. You know, you don't have much of a choice. It's done.
One more question before we go to our next break, MJ.
Sure.
If people do want to pick up a copy of either one of your movies, how do they get in contact with you?
They could email me at nightscape@pluno.com, pluno.com. Nightscape, NIGHTSCAPE @pluno.com. And then just email me and I'll send you stuff.
You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles, and we'll be back right after this.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. What would your life be like if you knew exactly what to say and do with women? Learn how to handle women's tests by addressing her emotional needs. By this, you create the type of attraction that will make her see you as the one. This book is a guide for men to understand exactly what a woman means when she speaks. Is that worth changing your life forever? Buy this book at franktalks.com now.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the Personalized Symbolic Peacocking Seminar. Guys, do you think that your father has a great sense of style? Are blue jeans and a clean t-shirt your idea of dressy? Then you need the Personalized Symbolic Peacocking Seminar. Does 1982 live in your closet? Do you own clothes that have more holes in them than a slice of Swiss cheese? Then you need the Personalized Symbolic Peacocking Seminar. Look at the contents of your closet. If you think that navy blue and dark green are your colorful clothes, then you need the Personalized Symbolic Peacocking Seminar. When you pick up your date for that night out on the town, does she cringe at your wardrobe? If you think that ladies might wonder if you're colorblind, or if your girlfriend has to remind you to wear a clean item of clothing, then you definitely need the Personalized Symbolic Peacocking Seminar. The Personalized Symbolic Peacocking Seminar and telephone consultations, only available at franktalks.com. Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. Ladies, do you want the man in your life to understand you on your level? Do you want your man to be able to listen to and address all of your emotional needs? Show him how much you really want your relationship to be the best it can be. Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test makes the perfect gift. The book, written by a man, for men, is endorsed by every woman that reads it. This book is a guide for men to understand exactly what a woman means when she speaks. Is that worth changing your life forever? Buy this book at franktalks.com now.
We're getting back to our interview with Mr. J Di Rocco, the producer, director, writer, and a multitude of other tasks on your film projects.
You forgot good looking.
No, I didn't.
Thanks, Frank.
I think it's. I have to say this. MJ and I have been friends for a long time, so it's okay. I can rib him like this. Not that I would for most of my guests, but on this one in particular, I'm more than happy to torture
It's okay.
him.
I know you're just jealous.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the future. What are some of your future aspirations, not only for yourself as an independent filmmaker, but also for the industry of independent filmmaking?
I think independent filmmaking is going to take a very big turn very soon. I think digital technology is skyrocketing right now with the new equipment coming out. Canon has got a wonderful new camera, the XL2. I will send them a CD so they can give me money for promoting their equipment on your show. Canon is a very good company. Buy from them. Now I'm going to get a check. I think the new digital technology coming out, the new computer programs coming out to edit are relatively affordable. I mean, if you think a couple of $1,000s, you can get a very good production quality digital mini DV camera for $5,000-$6,000. You know, you can get a great computer to edit for, again, $5,000-$6,000. So kids, if you're thinking about buying a car or being a filmmaker, take the bus, buy the equipment, and the digital wave is coming on strong. I'm a firm believer in working with digital. Film is a waste of money, a waste of time. You're going to spend too much money for nothing. And so with this digital technology coming out, people will start paying attention to it, because a lot of films now are being shot on digital. Most recently, the film Collateral with Tom Cruise, directed by Michael Mann, who did Heat and The Insider, was shot, and they used some of the cameras we used on Truant Cafe. So it's getting attention. So I see it going back to how it was in the 70s, where people would just pick up cameras and make films, and that's how you got the Scorseses and the De Palmas and the Coppolas and the Spielbergs and George Lucas, who went wrong somewhere, but he's a nice man. That's where I see filmmaking going in the next 5 years. I foresee a lot of independent stuff coming up. I foresee a lot of great changes and a lot of great innovations. And that's the only way the medium is going to progress, is to have young people working within a large number of limitations, like no money, like very little time. That's when the great filmmakers come out. And that's what you're going to see in the next 5 years. A great turn using digital, and you're going to see a lot of great films by a lot of people you'd never would have heard of if it weren't for digital production.
What about your own personal future aspirations?
I just keep on hoping I make enough money to keep on making films and to get enough people to watch my films. Those are my aspirations. I just like making films, and I want to keep doing it. Would I like to win an Oscar? Of course. I'd even take a Golden Globe. Hell, I'd settle for People's Choice Award. I'll even go over MTV. What are the ones they call here in Canada? The Junos, the Genies, the Geminis? I'll settle for one or all three. I don't care. Do I want an award? Yes. I mean, who does it? You know, who would say, no, don't give me that award. I'll take a Razzie if you give it to me. You know, spray paint toilet paper. I'll take that, a gold toilet paper roll. But I just want to keep on making films. I want to keep on making them my way, because there's nothing wrong with making things the way you feel they should be made. I've done that with Meatball Story. I've done that with Truant Cafe. People like them because they are what they are. You know, I don't try to make a film because, well, everybody else is making a film like that. You know, I don't go that route. I know what my limitations are. I work within them, and that's how I feel my quality goes. My budget will increase in time because attention will gain and will grow, and from there I will adjust accordingly.
We touched on this a little bit earlier on in the show, but I'm going to ask you a very specific question here. If you could go back in time and give yourself some advice when you first started getting into this, what would that be?
Keep going. You'll get there. I'd go back and just tell myself, you know what? It looks like a dark road, and it's going to be a dark road for a little while, but don't worry. You're going to meet some wonderful people, and they're going to help you out, and you're going to help them out, and you're going to see things are going to get there, and, you know, you're going to be cool one day. So that's what I would tell myself, you know. And I'd maybe tell myself to hang out at the comedy club, just don't do stand-up, because I'm not good at it.
So would you have advised yourself not to get involved in that aspect at all?
No, because I wouldn't have met anybody. I wouldn't have made that music video that was terrible and met that guy named Frank with the puppet show. Had I not done all that, I'd probably still be living in my parents' basement wondering why chicks don't like me. So now I live in Toronto with Anthony, and I sit in my room wondering why chicks don't like me. But hey, I made 2 films.
So the 2 films make it all worth it.
Yes, they do. Actually, they do, because it's a wonderful experience where you meet wonderful people, where you have stories where if I were to die tomorrow, I'd say, you know what? I did something very few people have done. Not only have I made a film, I've made 2 films with no money. I mean, there's people that have $150 million budgets and don't finish their film. So I can say, you know what? Even if I don't become famous, I'll have a hell of a story to tell my kids and my grandkids. So you know what? I made 2 films. We were crazy, but hey, we did it. No, we did it by ourselves with our own rules, begged, borrowed, stole equipment, but we did it. So
one quick question, because we're running out of time. When people do buy your video and or DVD of the films, what can they expect on those products?
They can expect some high quality work from some dedicated people, some cool special features, and movies that they will enjoy and be able to talk about and tell their friends to buy.
Running time on the 2 films?
Meatball Story, 1 hour, 40 minutes. Truant Cafe, 1 hour, 21 minutes.
MJ, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in studio today. Unfortunately, we've come to that time where we have to say goodbye.
Thank you, Frank.
You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyle.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test. A man's guide to the emotional needs of women. What would your life be like if you knew exactly what to say and do with women? Learn how to handle women's tests by addressing her emotional needs. By this, you create the type of attraction that will make her see you as the one. This book is a guide for men to understand exactly what a woman means when she speaks. Is that worth changing your life forever? Buy this book at franktalks.com now.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching available in person, by phone, and by Skype. For singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles, franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit franktalks.com.
What do you do when you feel like a fool? When your heart has been broken again? Pick up the phone or get onto Skype and talk on a private session. Yeah, get a little help from Frank Talks. Whoa, whoa, get by with a little help from Frank Talks. You gotta try a little help from Frank Talks. What do you do when your love goes away? Try coaching one-on-one. How do I sign up to turn things around? Just sign up at franktalks.com. Yeah, get by with help from Frank Talks. I get by with little help from Frank Talks. Time to try a little help from Frank Talks. Does it cost a lot of money? It's the best rate going around. Could it cost a lot of money? Oh, it's worth every cent that you will put down. Yeah, franktalks.com. Oh, you got to go to franktalks.com. Get your help from franktalks.com. Yeah, yeah. franktalks.com. Would you believe that Frank gets results? Yes, we're certain. Just read the reviews. Frank knows his stuff, and Frank's got real goods. Good love can soon come to you.